Welcome to Dynasty Playbook, Dynasty FF's dedicated podcast. I'm your host, Drew. You can find me on Reddit at EAF Marine and on Twitter, Drew Dotson NFL. With me is my co-host, Tyler. You can find him on Reddit at Barles and on Twitter at HBOM9508. We're a little late this week. It's been a little hectic and crazy for us this weekend. I was busy breaking my teeth and having all sorts of fun with that, but we're still making it to you. How you doing tonight, boss?
Doing great, man. We're here. We're here despite all the difficulties, technical and otherwise. We made it.
All right. So let's get right into the party, and let's start with our second college player discussion for the 2016 season, or at least our 2016 rookies. It's not quite the 2016 season yet, and we're doing Mike Williams out of Clemson. This guy's he's quite an interesting prospect, and I'm interested to see how this next season treats him. And Tyler, this guy was we brought him up on your recommendations, so I'm gonna let you start off and tell us what you like about him.
I like Mike Williams. He's got a nice frame, a nice build. He's a natural, man. He's smooth as glass. That's one thing that I really like about him is once he gets moving, he is very smooth. He does have a little bit of trouble separating, a little bit of trouble getting off the line. When a corner likes to get in his face, he has a little bit of trouble, but really, really like Mike Williams. I think we're looking at a guy who's a potential first-round NFL pick, and we're probably looking at a surefire first-round rookie draft pick when the time comes.
Absolutely. The first thing that stuck out to me is this guy has solid hands. I was telling Tyler earlier, I would trust him to catch a baby, and by that I mean I would just throw a baby down a football field, and I trust him to catch it. And I regularly throw babies down football fields, so this is a scenario I feel qualified to speak on. But he has some issues catching in traffic on contested catches, but he's also shown the ability in the two games I watched him in. Granted, there is limited tape, so take what we're saying with a grain of salt. He did make some very good catches in traffic as well. So there is the ability to do it. It's just refinement. The areas where he lacks, to me, are areas that can all come from just more practice, better. What's the one I'm looking for? Being taught by better trainers, better coaches. You know, he's going to get taught by better coaches at the NFL level, and getting off the line, dealing with press coverage better. He's going to learn how to use his hands better in the NFL. These are not things I'm terribly concerned at. If he had terrible hands now, that's a red flag now. It's going to be a red flag forever. The things I'm worried about now are not the things I'm going to watch, and I'm going to see if he continues to develop with them.
Yeah, if a guy can catch the ball, that's huge. That's natural. You rarely see a guy with terrible hands and that has trouble making catches. You rarely see that get better with time. You see those guys get overdrafted based upon the way they run or how they perform on their pro day. But at the end of the day, if they can't catch the ball, they can't catch the ball. One other thing that stood out to me on Williams is what the coaching staff asked him to do. I mean, he runs a full route tree. He's in the screen game. He's coming over the middle. He's running drags. He's running flies, curls, outs, and the fact that they're asking him to do that and he's able to do it successfully says a lot, especially for a young receiver. So I'm all about this kid. I don't think he's quite Laquan Treadwell, Tyler Boyd status just yet, but I think he's going to find his way into that discussion.
Yep. Like I said, this guy's just. I'm not putting my my official grade on him yet because I want to see more tape. I want to have more evidence to form a full opinion on him. But he's definitely somebody I'm very interested in, and I'm going to keep an eye on him. And speaking of Tyler Boyd, I got to pour one out already, and I feel like he probably should have poured one out before he got in the car. Dumbass! Like, come on. You're going to be a first-round NFL pick, and you're going out there and getting DUIs. Why are they all so stupid? Why is everybody got to be stupid?
I guess they
Doesn't he
don't
know I
like
like
money.
him as a prospect?
I mean, do you not like money? Do you not like fame and success and beautiful women and traveling the globe and uh, just dumb, just stupid? Yeah, I shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry.
Nah, that's all right.
I
But I
shouldn't.
mean,
I
for
brought
me,
his name up and I saw your face. It's
for me, like DUI is just one of those things. It's like there's no excuse for it. It's have some self-respect, have some testicular fortitude, call a cab, have a plan, because what you're doing, going out and getting a DUI is irresponsible. You're putting other people at risk. You know what? I'm getting off my soapbox because I could talk for 60 minutes about getting DUIs, and I mean, there might be one guy who's gonna be like, yeah, I hate DUIs too, and listen to the whole thing, but everybody else is gonna turn it off.
We're gonna miss our target audience by a good bit.
This is not the DUI playbook. But let's close that one up and let's move on to our IDP spotlight for the week. And our guy, this is coming in a request. This is Calvin Pryor, who is a safety out of New York. And I was not terribly high on him coming out of the draft. I didn't dislike him, but I wasn't real high on him. So Tyler, I'm gonna get your read on him. See if you were maybe you liked him more than I did.
I mean, he's the type of safety that I like. I like Buchanan better, for what it's worth. But Pryor was my number 2 DB. The dude's a hammer, and he's an in the box safety that'll just come up and hit you, and that's what I like, and that's also what produces well in IDP because it brings those sweet tackles that we're looking for. I thought he was really, and I'm just going purely off college tape. He was cagey, man, instinctual. The guy knew how to go find the football, and he had pretty good range. So I thought he could be a versatile safety. I thought he could play free or strong, but I thought he would settle better at strong safety, and it looks like that's what he's going to be this year in New York. For whatever reason, he didn't get the playing time last year. He was getting it, and then that didn't go so well. Probably pissed old Rex off a few times, blowing an assignment or falling asleep in a meeting room or who knows what was going on. But Pryor for me is top 15 to 18 defensive back, and I'm pretty comfortable with that ranking. I mean, they spent where did he go in the draft last year? I know he went in the first round. I think he went around pick 20. So that is pretty high draft pedigree right there. They're invested in him. And I think he's going to be a guy that could easily exceed that ranking that I have right now. That's, like I said, I haven't looked at it, but I think I've got him in, like I said, that 15 to 18 range, that mid-tier DB2. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this guy have 100-plus tackles this year.
Yeah, he is just a bit lower for me. He's probably closer to probably 18 to 24, somewhere in there. I don't know off the top of my head. But it also says something that, Rex Ryan is one of those guys I consider kind of a DB guru. And if he's finding reasons to take him off the field for one reason or another, that's slightly concerning to me. And, it might have been nothing, but it could have been something. Now, this coaching staff also has no commitment to this guy either. This is a brand new coaching staff. And if they feel like they're better served not using him in the way that's going to utilize talents best, that's to me is the reason I'm not comfortable ranking him higher, just because there's a lot of questions. But there is that upside as well. So that's I mean, you got to keep him in that DB2 tier just because there is that upside.
Yeah, I mean, the upside's legit. And, you go back and watch the way he played in college. I mean, the dude was all world. I mean, he was for real. And more times than not, he was the best player on the field, and it was pretty clear, when either you're watching live or watching tape. The dude had has the pieces, but he wouldn't be the first highly drafted individual to screw up and wash out. I don't see it. I think they're going to give him every chance to be successful this year and next, and I think he's got the skill set to do it. I think it's probably just more up top than anything else is why he was not playing last year.
Yeah, and maybe my ranking of them has something to do with Mark Barron leaving a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm just hesitant to.
Ah. I'm doing the Ace Ventura scrub your tongue thing. It was such a bad taste. Can we throw Matt Elam in there too?
It's just he reminds me of him. It's just they I don't even know why, because they're not that similar, but I get like a similar feel from them, and maybe that makes me more hesitant.
No, I
But
get that. I get that way about certain players where I'm like, something just doesn't smell right here. I kind of get the sense that's kind of how you feel.
yeah, and that's what it is. It's sometimes it's just that sixth sense where there's no analytics behind it. Sometimes I'm just doing stuff on a feeling, and I mean I can understand if you guys don't want to do anything based on the opinion of what my feeling is, because sometimes I don't want to do stuff based on what my feeling is. I'm like, that's sketchy. But I think that hits up my feelings pretty well. Let's move on to our submitted questions, and we got flooded with them right before the show started. But our first one comes from our buddy Adam Sticky Z, and this one's a dynasty theory question, it's an interesting topic. It says, how do you guys feel about diversifying assets? Make it a point to try and not own too many of the same top and mid tier players. This way, you can protect all your teams from losing the same guy. I know that Drew was a victim of this with Trey Mason, and I just want to know if y'all have an opinion on it. Lower tier guys, I'm all for owning everywhere in case they hit. He said, "Fuck you, I'm 80% Kyrie Robinson shares." And there was a reply to this as well. It says that gets to an interesting philosophical question about how you view fantasy football in general. Do you treat it like a slow growing investment by going conservative and differentiating your assets, or do you go aggressive and put the majority of your capital into certain players? Now, let me start off and say that, Adam, Tyler and I were the wrongest two people you could ask whether we care about diversifying assets, because Brandon Cooks, Jordan Matthews, DeAndre Hopkins, Allen Robinson, Devontae Adams, Isaiah Crowell. We just buy all the same guys for all our same teams. To me, I take my evaluations very seriously. I put a lot of work into them, and I feel like if I've done the work and I believe in a guy, I'm all in on him. If I've found a reason to believe in him, I feel like there's no reason I shouldn't believe in him for every single one of my teams.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I told Drew as soon as I read the question. Boy, you picked the wrong guys because I don't diversify shit, man. I am all in, chips in the middle. And it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, last year for me, it was J Matt and A Rob. I got a few Mike Evans shares. I'm trying to get more, even though they're ridiculously expensive. Hell, I'll pay ridiculously expensive. This year for me, it's Amari Cooper. And whether it's a blessing or a curse, now that Jalen Strong has fallen into the second round of rookie drafts, I got all the Jalen Strong I can handle. I think I have him on literally every single team I've drafted this year.
And that Nelson Aguilar fellow.
Aguilar. God, I've got a lot of Aguilar too. I'm all in, man. If it busts, it busts. So what? But if you hit and you hit across the board, that's money, dude. That's awesome. And I'm the same with Drew. I trust my own evaluations for better or for worse. I feel like I'm better at the evaluation than the valuation, because I will overpay for a guy and I will undersell guys that I don't want on my roster. I'm okay with that. I just want things to look the way that I want them to look. And if some of these teams hit like I think they will, 2, 3, 4 years from now, I'm going to be looking pretty good. And if they don't, oh well, back to the drawing board, and I'll do it all over again. Go give me some Laquan Treadwell across the board.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's if I'm diversifying my assets, I'm going to care less when I don't hit, and I'm not going to have as much invested in going back and correcting my process. But if I go all in and it busts out hard, then I really have a reason to go back and look at like why did I screw that up. But when like if Kelvin Benjamin he hit, so he hit kinda. I had to go back and look at what I got right, what I got wrong with Kelvin Benjamin because I didn't own him on a single team. And I was dead set on not owning him on a single team. If Brandon Cooks goes ahead and busts, I'm going to have to go back from square one and look at why I got that wrong. And that means in the future, I'm more likely to get something a similar player to Brandon Cooks or wide receivers in general. I'm going to be more effective in scouting them.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I mean, trust your own read. You know, if Drew and I are obviously film guys, we spend an absurd amount of time watching film for. I mean, I'm an amateur and I am a rank amateur, and my reads are as amateur as it gets, but I trust them. You know, and when that player does hit and you were in on them, it feels good. I mean, it's kind of like a nice little pat on the back. Everyone loves to have their ego stroked a little bit. And even if nobody knows but you, it's nice. You know, when I was buying up DeAndre Hopkins shares 2 years ago, 18 months ago, feeling pretty good right now. But there's a drawback there too. I mean, I get it. If they bust and they bust across the board for you, that's a lot of teams that get affected. So I do understand the mentality behind diversifying. It's just it's not for me. I mean, if that's where I have a guy valued, that's where I want him. That's where I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him 100% of the time over the guy that I have ranked lower, whether I have X number of shares or not. It doesn't even cross my mind.
That's exactly what it is. I have no issue with other guys diversifying and building, their rosters different ways because that fits their mind frame. But for me, I build essentially a set of master ranks based on how I feel about these players. What I've seen from them, what I know about them, and if I go into my 11th draft of the season and I'm picking from the 8 hole for the 7th time, and great, the number 8 player on my board is available for the 7th time. Guess what? I'm going to end up with the number 8 player on my board for the 7th time. I'm not going to jump farther down my board just to avoid having that same player over again, even though I think he's the superior player. And like it was S. Woodman Roxy that brought up the second point about the slow growing investment by being conservative or being aggressive and putting the majority of your capital into certain players. For me, the being conservative and the slow growing investments is going to lead you to being a middle of the pack team that has really the only chance you're going to have of really winning a championship is a lottery ticket. Once in a while, you'll hit it. Whereas if you're being aggressive, if you go all out, yeah, sometimes it's going to bust out hard and you're going to end up with the 101. But when you get the 101, you get Todd Gurley, Amari Cooper, Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, somebody. Or you hit 3 championships in a row, or you compete for 3 championships 3 years in a row. I mean, to me, that's the point. I'm not all about squeaking into the playoffs every year for 10 years in a row. That's not fun for me.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I either want to dominate or I want to be at the bottom of the pack. And there's not a lot of middle ground for me. So, if I have that team that just kind of eked into the playoffs the last couple of years and I have a few stud players but not a lot of youth, that's the team I'm blowing up every time. I'm going to blow it up, start over. If I have a team that's young and on the way up, I'm going to try to hold that core together. And I'm going to try to ship off what guys that I think will lose value and prospect, man. Don't be afraid to miss. You got to take a big hack to hit a home run. So that I'm all about that. I am the least conservative dynasty player you're going to come across. I make some trades that guys are like, what? Why would you do that? I'm stupid, maybe just completely unafraid, but there's a lot of situations I want to eke as much value as I can, but I'm not going to play it safe. I'm not going to play scared. Not my game.
Yeah, Absolutely. And I think that'll do it for us. Let's move on to our next question. Comes from at Mike Sood. It says, convince us that Sam Bradford can support a fantasy-friendly offense without using the words Chip or Kelly. Now, for me, I think that Sam Bradford is really benefited by the head coach in Philadelphia. But in all seriousness, I think a lot of people are forgetting how good Sam Bradford looked as a rookie in St. Louis. He looked like a guy who could come out and be a fantasy relevant quarterback regardless of the system. And to me, if you combine that with a guy, I mean, I know you asked me not to say Chip Kelly, but if you combine what we've already seen from Sam Bradford with Chip Kelly being able to get the most out of his offensive talent, I don't see a way that he's not utilized to the best of his potential. The biggest issue we've always had with Sam Bradford is he going to get to play a whole season, or are we going to see him for like 4 or 5 games and then get left with blue balls for the rest of the season? That to me has always been the issue with Sam Bradford, not do we know if he can play or not.
This is another Oklahoma guy deal. I'm the wrong guy. Outside of 2 QB leagues, Bradford has 0. I wouldn't care if I didn't. I could live without him. I suppose he could have a nice year, but hate to throw that injury-prone tag around. But if he plays 16 games, I will live stream me eating my hat in December if Sam Bradford plays all 16 games. It's not going to happen.
Is it going to be the Texas hat? I think it should be the Texas hat.
I will eat my Texas hat with a knife and a fork. It's not going to happen.
As soon as I saw Sam Bradford, I'm like, oh, we're going to get a balanced and unbiased opinion from Tyler.
I can't do it. I just can't. You see, I got the shirt, the hat, I got the gear on the wall. It's not happening. And
that's why I tried to come out and give people this nice.
Yeah. I mean, we've been watching him do it. I mean, since his Heisman year, has he played a full season? No.
He played his full season his freshman year. I mean, not his freshman year, his rookie year.
Did he? Did he really?
Yeah. He was the offensive rookie of the year that year.
Mouth breather. Move on.
But our next question comes from at 14 Team Mocker, and he asks, in a vacuum, how significant is running back size for you, and in what way? And I'm going to start off saying it's not very significant at me almost at all. As long as the weight matches up with their height, it doesn't matter. As long as they're not J.J. Nelson, it doesn't really matter. Look at MJD. MJD was 5'7". I have 2 inches in height on MJD, and MJD was far from being undersized, in my opinion, just because he was short. Look at Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles has no problem being an NFL running back. He's 5'6". He's my wife's height. He's had no problem. Look at Brandon Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs was 6'4". He's a biggin. And Matt Waldman has said it. And running back is the least size-dependent position in the NFL because you can literally go from being 5'6" to 6'4", and as long as you can play the position, it does not much matter.
Yeah, I don't put too much stock into it. I will say that when I see a bigger guy, we've talked about Derrick Henry before. When I see that guy who's 6'1", 6'2", 220, 240, all right, I'm going to look at him a little bit harder. But I'm not going to knock a smaller guy, Gio Bernard, or a guy like that. I'm not going to put too much stock into their size. Like Drew said, if they're framed well, it's not a big deal. I don't think they're going to be any more or less injury prone than a big guy. They probably the smaller they are, the better they're going to move. They're going to be a better PPR back. I have no stats or data to back that up, but it just seems to be kind of the way it is. And there was this guy, Barry Sanders, who was pretty good. He wasn't very big. You've heard of him.
I feel like I have, and I feel like he didn't go to Texas.
Is Oklahoma State. There's a difference. It's two different breeds of Okie.
I feel like they were still just as evil to you, but I don't know.
No. Big difference.
I assume they were all just as evil to you guys. But I mean, I'm also, to me, I'm from, I'm an LSU fanboy for life, and I hate Mississippi State. But I mean, I hate Ole Miss more than Mississippi State, but I still hate Mississippi State. So I guess, I mean,
that's fair.
To me, I just assumed it was still it was hatred regardless.
No, it's OU 1, A&M 2, and then we can go ahead and hate everybody else because I guess Longhorn fans are the elitist of what used to be the Southwest Conference and is now the big whatever the hell it is. So still plenty of room for hate, but it's on a whole different level.
Yeah. It's all right. One day you'll get to Notre Dame levels of just being elitist. We're so good, we don't even need to play in any of your conferences. We're just going to go be Catholic here in our own little corner. But that brings us to 14-team mocker. Second part of the question is Amir's size a concern for you? So pretty much our entire first part of the question said no, and specifically for Amir, not at all. No. I really like Amir Abdullah. I was actually just talking about it with our buddy Pat before we went on the show because I've been thinking about it for about the last 2 days. I really wish I had got my hands on some more Amir Abdullah shares this offseason because it seems like every time it came on the clock, I'd have the choice of Amir Abdullah or some other guy. And it's not like I purposely chose to just never go with Amir Abdullah. It's just I always, for some reason, went with the other guy. And now that I'm sitting here with like no Amir Abdullah shares, I'm kind of upset because I feel like he's going to do really well, and I'm excited to see how he does in Detroit.
Yeah, I think he'll do pretty well in that offense. I have one share, and I actually traded up to get it, and took him over Funchess, which most people will say, yeah, you're supposed to take him over Funchess, but I'm one of those Funchess guys. And then we had the draft that we did super, super early, way before the NFL draft, and I took Stephon Diggs and left Amir Abdullah on the board. I'm a little salty about that one. I'll let you get in my head, Dotson. You got in my head.
I mean,
hey,
I
left him on the board too.
Do what?
You left him on the board too, but you left him on the board for Duke Johnson.
Yeah, that's different. I mean, I love Stephon Diggs, but I wouldn't have done that. That's crazy talk.
I'm insane. I'm fucking nuts. You know?
Man.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Diggs is gonna blow up.
Was that was the Dynasty Hell draft, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was all pre-draft. We were all out of our fucking minds then.
Way overconfident.
Yeah, we all thought we were just full of piss and vinegar. We thought we knew everything, and we knew nothing.
What a bunch of rank amateurs. And then at the back end of the draft, Drew takes some dude named Matt Jones. So we're just like, hell, I don't know.
I wasn't even happy about it. I was so mad I took Matt Jones. I'm like, fuck, I think I know this guy's name. And then he gets taken at the end of the third round in the NFL draft. I'm like, well, all right, I guess.
that
and I still wasn't happy that I had him. Oh, man, we were all a bunch of assholes for doing that before the NFL draft.
We're going to do it again probably, too, because there will be riots inside it.
I blame Alex for all of this.
Alex is awesome. He's our riot master.
Fun times, though. But our next question comes from @BreezeIDP. And a little teaser for y'all. Me, Tyler, and Eric are all planning on doing a special IDP Playbook podcast for you guys coming soon. So keep an eye out for it for all you IDP junkies. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys have anything you would specifically like us to hit on, let one of us know, and we'll get it on the docket. And he wants to get an explanation from us. My 2 QB rookie rankings recently went out on the fake pigskin, and he wants to No, he thinks my Mariota 2 QB rookie rank on Fake Pigskin is too low, and he wants to know my thoughts on it. First of all, my rankings went Gurley, Cooper, White, Winston, Aguilar, Parker, Gordon, Yeldon, Mariota. First of all, I think I've actually started. I was working on a 2 QB article after I did my rankings, and I'm thinking about moving Winston over White, which for me feels really weird. But I'm starting to trend more towards quarterback in the format than I used to, but I'm still not moving up Mariota. For me, Mariota's ceiling is QB1-ish, but his chances of reaching that ceiling are capped by the iffy talent around him. DGB is full of questions. Kendall Wright is flaming bag of dog poop. Justin Hunter is a burnt out bag of dog poop. Trey McBride is awesome, and he's going to be a stud for the rest of forever. He has no legitimate running game to speak of because I don't believe in David Cobb. And Ken Wisenhunt has never developed a quarterback in his entire time coaching. I have no faith in the situation. So, to me, the fact that Mariota is number 9 overall in my rankings is based purely on the fact that I think Mariota still has talent and he's going to be able to overcome all these shit factors around him despite them all working against him. Yeah, it's 2 QB. Yeah, QB gets a boost. But Mariota wouldn't even be in my second round. He'd be in the rankings of my first 2 rounds at all in 1 QB. And in Superflex, he probably falls out of my first round rankings. But 2 QB, it really boosts it. And I mean, I was almost uncomfortable ranking him there, but he has talent. He has draft pedigree, so he's going to get a chance. And Tyler, what do you think?
I think it just goes back to what we were talking about. You go with your read on a guy. You know, this is a craptastic QB class. It's 2 guys. And it's 2 guys that, So I don't know if I suppose I could take Mariota ahead of Yeldon or Parker or one of those guys if team need dictated, but I don't disagree with the ranking. I think that's about right. I've got Jameis at 4 for my 2 QBs, and I think I got Mariota 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. So he's not going to get out of the first round of a 2 QB rookie. He's not going to get out of the top 6 or 7 anywhere. So it's kind of a move, unless you're the one passing him, which you probably, QB class last year was better. It's just not a very good class. So I think that's kind of skewing things a little bit, in that we're looking at players, not the ideology behind 2 QB strategy.
Yeah, and the part 2 to his question is, the porn bots love us, which by that he means they're constantly favoriting our tweets all over the Twitter. He says, do you think it's our good looks or Tyler's Texas accent that makes them want us more? And I don't have an answer for that. I'm not sure what attracts people to have IDP bots follow or porn bots follow them around. But I think Tyler has a solid theory.
It's the IDP. They think that I DP, when in fact I do not DP. I think they're picking up on that little those 2 letters together. But yeah, they do. They follow around the Dynasty Playbook. We got like Dynasty Playbook porn bot groupies. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So I really don't know what to do with them.
Just block them. Like Pat says, I'll look at the pictures first and then I'll block them.
See, I never get ones with pictures. I always get ones that are just like weird people that are seedy porn bots in disguise.
So
And
bizarre. Like, who are you? Where did you come from? And why do you like this? It's almost as bad as the Reddit bot that favorites every pick ever made of all time. That's a bizarre little creature on the Twitterverse.
the only ones that are worse are the ones that favor any tweet that has the word startup in it. So every time I try and advertise for the 2QB startup mocks, I have like 3 immediate favorites from guys who want me to help them with their startup businesses, and I'm like, yeah, not the same thing at all. Good try though.
Don't say the S word. That is the S word. Just put a hyphen in there. Do something.
I wonder if they can favorite this podcast because I said startup a couple of times. I wonder how advanced their technology's gotten.
I was doing a DM and Tim the other day. I was like, Tim, that they're going to get in here. They're going to get in here and favorite this because we said IDP and startup like 1,000 times. They're on to us.
Yeah. So our last question comes from @TheRealTesh, and he wants to know Amari Cooper versus the wide receiver class of 2015. Who has the most standard points from 2015 to 2018? Essentially, their rookie contract. What do you got?
Smart money's on Coop. I mean, if it's kind of like, remember when Tiger Woods was in his heyday and it was like Tiger Woods versus the field and the smart money was still probably on Tiger Woods. I kind of feel that way about Coop. Obviously, we love Aguilar. I think he's going to do really well. Kevin White should be a thing. Parker, I'm still not sold on Parker. But the smart money's on Coop. There's a reason why Coop went higher. That's why he's the 101 or the 102 in every rookie draft. It's Coop, man. I think we're looking at a top 12 startup now.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, I don't know dick about standard anymore because this isn't like 2009, 2010. I don't remember the last time I did a standard league, but PPR, I think it's clearly Cooper. And this is coming from like the biggest Kevin White fanboy and the biggest Aguilar fanboy. I think they both have substantial upside, and they're all going to be. I mean, with time, they could all be first and second round startup picks themselves, but I think Coop is going to solidify him as a top of the first round startup pick fairly quickly. And I mean, he's going to earn it, plain and simple. He's kind of a stud. He's kind of a stud already, and he's only going to become more studly with time. I think he's a perfect complement to what Derek Carr does. So I don't think he's going to have any real delay in production either.
Yeah, he's going to come out ready to go. The teams where I have him, he's going to be a week 1 starter. Bam, just like that. I'm not even going to hesitate. Going right in the lineup. And hopefully going to stay there for the next decade.
Yeah. Hopefully. So, it's been a crazy weekend for us. Been kind of busy. So we have a little less material than we normally do. Tyler, do you have anything else we wanted to touch on before we start wrapping it up for the week?
I think we hit it all. Let's hear your rant. I hope you have one this week.
I do not, besides the fact that I really hate the dentist. I showed up with a broken tooth, and then I spent 4 hours in a dentist chair, and I hate the dentist. I really do. That's all I got. What about you? You got something to rant about?
Good enough. Not really. That's pretty uninspiring, but at the same time, I get it. How about the fact that when things are bad enough that you actually have to go to the dentist, that's when you know it's bad, and you're dreading it. And you know, like, I got to go to the dentist. That'll be horrible.
Yeah.
As bad as you think it's going to be.
It's awful. And then they gotta complain at me because I haven't got my teeth cleaned in a while. And they're like, well, you need to get your teeth cleaned. And they're like, so we're gonna scrape you with this, and it's gonna hurt. And they're like, fantastic. And you're gonna have to pay us for this. Oh, fantastic.
Should be the other way around, no?
Yeah, I really like. I at least want like a hand jibber or something. You guys are gonna make me.
Wine.
I hate the dentist. It's like the worst place I ever go. I'd rather go to court than go to the dentist.
Ooh, I got jury summons in the mail.
Not.
Ew.
I mean, like go testify in court. Not like jury duty.
Yeah. Jury duty's bad. I'll get out of it. I mean, there's always a way, but I had to open it up and look at it and go, they found me. I need to go off the grid.
Just tell them you hate white people.
There you go. I'm just going to show up, wear a flag, and then I'm going to do like the old crisscross, the backward baggy pants, send a bunch of mixed signals to them. They'll think this dude out of his goddamn mind, and I'm back to work.
Or you can just show up and pee your pants. That's always solid.
I'll wear my bike helmet. Cartman.
Oh, perfect. This is solid Dynasty content right here. All right, guys. All right, so we've already kicked off our first 2 QB Dynasty mock to collect ADP. It's actually running along pretty quickly, but we're always looking for more people. I'm trying to knock out 8 of these by the end of the month. So if you guys are interested, if you're willing to participate in a mock draft, let me know. There's no charge. This is all for free. It's helping out the 2 QB community. If you guys are interested, shoot me a message on Twitter, shoot me a message on Reddit, let me know, and we'll get it all set up. You got any last parting shots for us, boss?
Nope.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for us then. This has been the Dynasty Playbook, Dynasty FF's dedicated podcast. I've been your host, Drew. You can find me on Reddit at EAF Marine, on Twitter at DrewDotson NFL. With me has been my excellent co-host, Tyler. You can find him on Reddit at Barles, on Twitter at HBomb9508. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week.